edition of G-Rock Rising. Today our guests are most of the band, save Pluto. We just don't have your drummer with us today, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to get to the band name in a second because people may not realize Save Pluto is a great succinct name. There's actually quite a meaning behind that, and you are a band that really chooses your words carefully in a very good way, I think. So for the brevity's sake, often say out of the New York City area, but when it really comes down to the basics and the nuts and bolts of it, lots of Jersey roots in Save Pluto and Staten Island roots right now, so it's one of those things where that's always the challenge for bands, especially in our G-Rock Rising audience, I think, trying to figure out where to pin yourselves down on the map when getting out there and letting people hear your music. We have Gautam, Sean, and Alan with us today, so I want to thank you guys for coming down to the studio and giving us some time. The CD also, another thing that I want to get into, the meaning behind Age of Lowered Expectations, which I think is a fabulous album name. I think it's so great. And we try to have different, we're touching on different things with different bands, but first and foremost, the band name, Save Pluto. I mean, it's actually very topical because growing up, I know you memorize the 9 planets, Pluto is always on there, and
it's always pancakes, right?
Exactly, or a very excellent mother, just served us 9 pizzas, or whatever it was to remember it, and suddenly Pluto, very recently...
There are no more pancakes.
No more Pluto. no more planet, and so that is actually what inspired your current band moniker, which is... What was the meaning? What was the thought process behind it?
It really, I was flipping through a magazine and there was an article about Pluto losing its planetary status, and basically we had actually had another name that we found out had been taken. For a short time we had this name that we came up with, and we thought, oh, we got to come up with something else. Just flipping through this magazine, there was an article about that, and I thought, Save Pluto. It just kind of hit me, and I brought it to those guys, and I was like, what do you think of this? And they both loved it, so I was like, all right, cool.
Which is a miracle in itself. If you've ever tried to, try to find a name that's cool, that everybody can agree on, that everybody is excited about too, not just, oh yeah, that's okay, because it's your name, you gotta be, you gotta be
behind it 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just happy we changed the name.
Well, when you run into that, I've had bands come on before for G-Rock Rising and say, well, the first thing we did when we did come up with a new name, or if we had some kind of discrepancy, they Googled it just to see what comes up nowadays, because you never really know who else is out there. So in a way, it's easier these days.
Yeah, we
it checked out okay.
It's a great resource, and we went through about probably 30 names before we all found out that were taken.
Right.
I did find someplace that had a T-shirt. Somebody was selling a T-shirt that said "Save Pluto."
But it was
one
more
of our friends actually ended up buying it and wearing it to shows.
See, that makes
we kind of co-opted that. We're like, yeah, that's our logo.
I had friends in college, not to get off the beat, but they were "Don't mess with Texas" while we played, and that's obviously a slogan everywhere. So they were always very excited to see it written on things. But it didn't last as long as something like "Save Pluto" because it's not just about the topicality of it, I would imagine, but I know that you address it when you look at the band website, which you could get to through MySpace.com, and then it's Save Pluto Online. With 2 O's.
Yeah, because somebody else had Save Pluto.
Is that how it works too? You just gotta roll with it.
It wasn't a music page. It was just like somebody who wanted to actually save Pluto.
Save Pluto. See, that goes back to the whole... See, maybe
it's topical.
and controversial in that sense too, because unfortunately it wasn't much of a save.
I think they were getting a lot of hate mail from scientists.
But aside from that topicality of it, it's really about holding on to traditions, I would imagine, and just the struggle of things that would seem sacred growing up. You never thought they'd be able to strip Pluto of its status, and suddenly they did.
Nothing is sacred anymore.
It really is, and that brings me to the album we're pushing too, which is The Age of Lowered Expectations. Is that a commentary more on the state of, I guess, either the recording industry or music, or just in general society with such a reality-based? What were you thinking when you decided to go that direction?
Yes to all of it.
There's so much going on these days. So.
Well, I had originally I had conceived it as an era of lowered expectations, and then G and I were on the turnpike, and I said it to him, and he said, "Well, what about age of lowered expectations?" And I said, "Oh, that's perfect, because it could mean
kind of a dual meaning.
Yeah, it could mean age, like your age,
as you age. As you age, you kind of all the things that you dreamed about or thought you would do, and you lower your own expectations for what your life's going to be like. I think actually that's kind of thematically on the record, but
it's
happening. There's just the society.
Just the era that we live in, which could not be more disappointing. on a pop culture level, could not possibly be more disappointing. When we live
the stuff that people are willing to put up with, even
just your expectations are lower. How whatever pop if you look at TV or if you look at
perfect example is a Writers Guild strike. I mean, not to go on
that's
a tangent, but like the Writers Guild
right.
strike, it's like I work. My day job is working in advertising, so I deal with this on a daily basis. The Writers Guild goes on strike, and so all the regular scripted shows that are interesting,
and creative
and everything,
and substantial,
are gone.
Original.
And so they've been replaced with reality television, and nobody cares.
Right, not enough to actually do anything about it. Which obviously you can relate to as musicians who have to deal with the day job thing because people are so used to manufactured acts these days, and then it can be that much harder to get your original stuff through, even though it's obviously. So by addressing and taking on the idea of the age of blurred expectations with your CD, Safe Pluto, I was hoping to bring them back in 2008. That's what I think. You have a lot of stuff going on with the band. You've been doing a lot of different kinds of shows, aside from the full 4-piece band. You've been doing some acoustic, which you'll be doing for us very shortly on G-Rock Rising. So that kind of thing. I guess the short forecast for 2008, when people can look for happening with the band, then would it be just continued live shows of both kinds? Then?
Yeah, definitely. Doing acoustic shows at Borders all over New Jersey, and some full band stuff in the summer and the spring. Maybe some festivals and fairs and things like that.
Great.
We're working with a booking agent that is going to get us some of those kind of gigs, and really just the whole gamut of shows that we can do. We love to just get out there and play either way, acoustic, electric. We have fun both ways.
Sometimes I'll walk up and down subway cars asking for spare change.
You'll be busting.
That's nothing to do with this. I just do that.
At least do the flips and things and stuff. The full show. So there'll be lots to look for then with Safe Pluto. The website again, myspace.com, Safe Pluto online, and now they're going to play for us and give you another reason to go check them out. This has been another edition of G-Rock Rising.